Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Neon Crew podcast. We're here. We're finally doing it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
We're here with Kyle, that's me, and Mac.
Hello, everybody.
My friend Mac. How you doing, Mac?
Pretty good, all things considering.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been a lazy Sunday. We had a football game Friday, and then yesterday disc golfed and wore myself out a little bit. So I've just been mulling around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had Taco Bell, so that was the highlight of my day.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay, what'd you get?
I got my usual number 7 with a soft taco and a Pepsi.
What's a number 7?
That's a chicken quesadilla.
Oh, okay.
The one on Apple they don't put the sauce on it like I would like them to. I'm not even joking.
You get him after him about it yet?
No. Because, it's half and half. So, half the time they do an okay job, and then half the time it's, barely any sauce at all.
Yeah, that's why you don't leave a tip.
Exactly. No matter how hard they try to push for it.
Yeah.
I can't stand for it. Mostly because I'm sitting in my car.
Well, you get it. I like Taco Bell, but I'm more of they got the soft potato taco, soft shell taco, cheesy gordita crunch wrap supreme.
See, you like the variety. I like to stick with one specific thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some man of routine,
I am. I very much am.
You get a little thrown off if there's more than 3 cars in the line.
I mean, a little bit. Sometimes I'll just leave.
Yeah. Too much for me.
Can't wait that long for the same thing I get every time. So I guess I should probably tell people what kind of podcast this is.
No, it's his fast food podcast.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're
right?
going to talk about standing in line at fast food shops.
We're going to make a tier list of every single fast food restaurant. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Including the Pakistani McDonald's.
Ooh, I wonder what their quarter pounder looks like.
I don't know. They probably don't call it a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably use a different sort of
their
system
own
of
language.
Measurement. Yeah. Well, that and their own language. That too. That gets in the way.
Yeah.
But no, this is a film podcast, so you and I are going to get together and we're going to discuss movies and film because that's pretty much how you and I became friends, I would say.
I mean, if we're talking, it all started at Sam's Club and get back there and just talk about the best Marvel movies of all time and Batman.
Yeah. And that was that. We're only discussing Marvel movies.
And Batman.
And Batman.
Maybe we'll leave DC out. I mean, is Batman is DC, but is it really DC?
He pretty much stands on his own, right?
Yeah. That's what
he's his own sort of powerhouse superhero.
I think if DC was and they are in trouble. I mean, they're so far behind Marvel, when it comes to production and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to kind of slide in and take Batman,
Well, I think what they're realizing is that, they can't copy Marvel anymore because they tried and they failed. So I think what they're starting to realize is that they're just going to do their own things, their own, separate movies, kind of, away from a franchise or, anything else and just try to have them stand on their own, which I think would work a lot better.
Yeah. I'm curious as to see where DC's gonna go. I really am. I don't know. I don't really follow comic books that much, so
I still need to see the Snyder cut.
Do you?
I mean, I feel like I have to. It's a 4-hour-long movie. It's it's one of the most dramatic changes to a movie that had already been released, and mostly happened because of public demand. So I feel like I have to because it's just. I don't know. It's weird to say about Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it's a part of history in a way.
Yeah. I know when it first came, Batman vs Superman came out, and then Justice League came out, and I've seen 15 minutes of each movie, and I couldn't tell the difference. So I mean, that's where everyone started coming out, and I love film, all right, and I'm I always check out I watch it when I can.
Yeah.
But they come out with this 4-hour-long slog, and I'm like, great. I still can't tell the difference. If I turn it on, if I walked into a room and you had it running, and let's say you're at the 2-hour 50 mark, I might just blurt out Batman vs Superman. Think in confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember this part.
It's like, BVS.
Yeah. You guys remember this, right?
That's when Superman flies down and he talks to Batman. I know that scene.
Oh, my God. You talk about that movie, too. Like, what was it? Lex Luthor. Doesn't he, like, kidnap Superman's mom in that movie?
He kidnaps Superman's mom, and he also, and then that's pretty much it. That's like the whole motivation for Superman to fight Batman.
Isn't it kind of weird? It's like the first time Superman was ever like human, like literally out of his control.
Yeah,
like somehow Lex Luthor. It's Luthor, right?
Yeah, no, it's Jesse Eisenberg.
Well,
I mean, let's be real.
Lex Luthor playing Jesse Eisenberg, right?
Yes.
So I mean,
Lex Luthor playing Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. God, to think, Zuckerberg had to kidnap Superman's mom to start Facebook. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe it. Jack Dorsey, look out.
So I mean, I remember I had it on, and I'm watching it. And he's up doing, the Mark Zuckerberg thing on the building, and he's screaming at Superman, and he's just like, I got your mom, and that's it. I'm going to kill her. Like, you got an hour to kill Batman or something. I don't remember his whole motive behind it, but I just like...
He wanted Batman and Superman to kill each other.
Right.
Because, like, he figured if one of them died, then it would be a win. If both of them died, it would be an extra win.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that wasn't going to work out that way because one is super rich and has all these like tools to his disposal, and the other one is a literal god alien.
It's weird when you put it like that. What takes precedence? Mm-hmm. Do I have to get like his green pass first, or do I have to pray to him?
You have to go to the Church of Facebook. That's what you have to do. But yeah, we kind of went on a little Justice League rant there for a bit.
I mean, we
were talking about how we met and how we know each other and became friends.
This is how it got going.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was it. I mean, it was like, let's hang out by the recycling compactor and talk about how Mark Zuckerberg doesn't play Jesse Eisenberg that well.
Exactly. But yeah, no, you and I connected through movies and TV shows, Breaking Bad specifically, I would say, as far as TV shows go.
Yeah. Yep.
Which we'll have to talk about for a future episode. Like a whole episode.
That's like a week.
Right? A season per episode. So that's like, 5 episodes of the podcast just dedicated to Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
And that's not even including Better Call Saul. That's not even including El Camino.
Well.
So really, if you think about it, that's like 12 episodes.
Yeah, we got the whole we have the whole fourth quarter booked.
Yeah. No, we got it planned out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hope you guys like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and if you don't, leave us a comment.
Leave us a comment
telling us how The Sopranos are better.
Wow, just shouting someone out, huh?
I have no idea. Hey, I have no idea. All right, just throwing out a random TV show.
Oh yeah. There's no story behind that.
No. Well, first off, what's HBO thing? HBO. It's not TV. It's HBO. So I guess I can't call The Sopranos a TV show. It's an HBO show.
Is that their thing?
Yeah, I think back in like when they first started. Well, I shouldn't say when they first started because I have no idea when HBO started.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had The Wire, right?
Well, I mean, like when you say like, I think a long time ago of like the 70s. I don't know. You might be thinking of a long time ago, like late 90s.
I'm thinking of the 90s. The year that I was like 5 years old.
Yeah. Well, so I can't argue with it because like the craziest thing I ever saw was like we are as far away from 1939 to 1980 as we are right now to 1980. Like in 1980, they're like, man, we're as far back from 1939 as 1939 was to 1907.
I'm sorry, I let time slip by me there, and I don't know what happened.
I mean, are we 40 years removed from 1980?
I think I'm just 40 years.
So, anyways, I don't know when HBO started, but that was their thing. They'd go, it's not TV, it's HBO, because they could, do the nudies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Plus,
Uh-huh.
Then Game of Thrones took it to a whole nother level.
You would, as a kid, you'd stay up past like 10 o'clock and hope your parents didn't put parental blocks on the.
Oh, they had
TV.
no idea. No, I was in the clear.
Yeah.
I was. I think the year we got HBO, it was like, that's when I first believed in God. Like, I was like, there's no way that they got this.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not going to go asking people, like, do we really have HBO? It's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, money is not like a thing when you're probably 12 years old. Well, I should say 10, 10 to 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like one of those things like, oh, I got to buy this.
Yeah. Money's a thing, but it's in the form of a card from your grandmother with a $20 bill in it.
Even that, like, it's, my dad tried to do, like, he tried to help me out with saving up, doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, like, I don't know. Even when I was in high school, like, it was, you get $5-10. It's like, we're going to get food with it.
Mm.
Like, I didn't think to put it in, like, a, old shoe or something like that and save up for a car.
Yeah.
So, that's like.
Or an HBO subscription.
We had it. It was just there. It's like
Mhm.
awesome. Because sometimes Showtime pop up every once in a while because they do, like, that was back before, like, they give you the subscription,
Mhm.
so they give you like a 7th month, just throw it on your TV because
Yeah.
it's part of your cable provider. So,
Dude, I don't even have cable anymore. Like,
no,
I just have streaming services, basically.
that's all. I mean, what's on cable? People had it for the news.
The news, I'm sure, is like the biggest reason people still have it. That and
Yeah.
there's like TV shows that are still going on while cable was still pretty big that have just continued going on, and they just keep it for that reason.
Yeah.
Like Walking Dead is still going on, and I'm sure tons of people still have cable just because of shows like that.
Well, you could still get AMC. You could get an AMC. I mean, I think everything out there besides even ABC might even have something. CBS started streaming stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Man, every network's gonna have like their own streaming service.
Oh yeah, just give it like 6 months.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's basically already happening.
Yeah.
They've got Discovery Plus. You can watch every episode of Deadliest Catch.
the when it really struck me was when Paramount
Yeah.
got their own thing. And
Paramount
it was like,
Plus.
Yeah, because my grandma and grandpa used to watch Paramount. Like, you watch Paramount to watch movies from the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So then when in my head, I hear Paramount and I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna watch It's a White Christmas, and now you have to pay $10 to watch that.
Yeah.
But they got other things going on.
They have like a bunch of Nickelodeon shows because I think they own Nickelodeon.
Do they?
Yeah, like they have the iCarly revival that's on Paramount Plus, which I mean I've heard decent things about, but
yeah, I mean, hey, don't show your cards, man.
Listen, I'm not gonna say that I was a fan of iCarly, but I'm also not gonna say that I wasn't.
Good, yeah, plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah, I mean it was a decent show. Not that I should be embarrassed to like it. It wasn't as good as Drake and Josh by any means.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like that age disparity right there is what's gonna push the show out. Like,
oh yeah,
like
the fact that you don't really know what I'm talking about.
I know Drake and Josh, and I know iCarly, but it's like, I think I was like 14 or 15 when those are out.
Okay.
Right? Like I think maybe it had to have been around.
By then
time.
You were watching CSI Miami.
Oh God, time. Yeah. Like, dude, that was at the campground in Ludington. We had to pass time. It was raining out. Knocked out like 3 seasons.
Okay. So just camping, watching David Caruso do his thing.
Yep. CSI. It was Law and Order, and CSI took off. Law and Order was huge.
What a great camping pastime.
Wow, it was raining. Okay, it's not like it was nice out where I was like, man, what am I gonna do today?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna knock out 3 seasons. Like, hey Mac, it's 75 and sunny. You want to go for a hike? Like, no. They just found the butter knife that was in the guy's spleen. So yeah, but that CSI was a big hit.
Yeah. I remember being scared of that show when
CSI?
I was younger. Because the commercials that they had for it almost made it look like a horror show sometimes.
Oh.
Because I just remember specifically there was like an episode where the whole like plot arc was like this dude who would leave like miniature figurines after he like killed somebody.
Oh.
And like it made me, the way that they shot the commercial made me scared to watch that show. Because
I believe it.
Yeah, they made it out to be like this sort of like horror movie type thing. And
yeah,
maybe
it was a Halloween special.
I was very easily startled as a kid.
What are you gonna do? You know, I mean, all it takes is like a weird. I mean, really, all it takes when you're young is like some weird music going on, a couple startling shots, and then like the boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah.
Until next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids are so easily scared. Yeah. I know I was.
Yeah. No, they still are. I mean, I just do it for fun.
I think it took me a long time to like come around and actually watch horror movies because I was like way too scared to get into them, even like in my late teens, I would say.
Dude, see, all right, well, so one of the episodes we'll have to watch Silver Bullet.
Okay.
My dad, and you'll appreciate it. I'm just gonna drop it right now. My dad decided to show that to me and my brother and my friend Ethan Miles. I think when I was in first grade, so Sam was in kindergarten. Ethan might have been in second grade. Me and Ethan were in second. Sam might have been in first.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll hold off on to that one. But that's like, so I was probably 6, 7 watching this movie. And then you can be the judge of like where I had to stand with horror films.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm interested. I'm very interested.
Yeah,
Silver Bullet.
That'll be a Halloween special.
Halloween special.
Yeah.
The whole month of October will just be horror movies.
Yeah, we'll you know,
all 2 of those episodes.
Or combine it into one 2-hour episode.
So, kind of getting back to what we were talking about before with like our interest in movies.
Yeah.
So we would oftentimes get together, have dinner, hang out, and we would mostly just chat about movies because I think that's like, I don't know, that's
the conduit.
Yeah, that's where our bond is kind of formed is movies. I mean, that's how it started, and that's pretty much how it's been going. And of course, we'll talk about other stuff too. We'll talk about other subjects on this podcast, kind of like what we did before when we would just get together and hang out. But for the most part, it's going to be film centered, or at the very least, entertainment centered.
There you go. I mean, that's like, you know,
I don't want to
keep it to film, but you know, let's just get out there. We'll have a couple topics. We'll talk on some things that pique our interest, and you know.
I don't want us to feel tied down to like one specific thing.
Yeah, man, that's why I hate the government.
Exactly.
So you know, like I think we'll come out here. We got some stories we can share, things that happen, and hopefully we'll be able to talk on film. You've already heard us talk about HBO and Mark Zuckerberg, so
right.
You know,
and DC movies, horror movies.
I still think that DC should have its own. You know, like Marvel nailed it. Everyone talks about Marvel. No one talks about DC. You know, maybe we should lead the path.
They'll talk about certain movies, but they won't talk about the DCU as a whole.
Yeah.
Because they'll talk about Joker, they'll talk about the Snyder Cut, but as soon as you bring up like Man of Steel or BVS or like even Justice League before the Snyder Cut, people just dismiss it and they're like, yeah, that's not worth anything.
I mean,
compared to Marvel. I mean, look at what Marvel has built up like over the last decade.
See, that's the other thing too. Like I heard you drop the Joker in there. I mean, he's part of the DC universe, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a DC production.
It wasn't. That movie was not a DCU movie.
Right.
It was not in that like same universe.
So it
was its own separate thing, but it was still a DC movie.
Like that's where I'm kind of at with the whole DC thing. Is like, are they just nabbing movies with, you know, like Batman stands alone.
Yeah.
But he's a DC in the DC universe.
Right.
You know, so you know, like so as a film, it's a Batman film. But does DC go out there and go, he's ours. He's ours. You know, like I know that he made it through whoever made what Batman was a production house that went through.
I'm not sure.
I don't either.
I do think that that's probably what they're going to go for the new Batman movie that they're making with Rob Pattinson, though. Like, I don't think they're going to try and tie him in with the DCU.
You don't think so?
No, because they already kind of established Ben Affleck as, like, the Batman for that universe. And with the casting of Robert Pattinson and the way that the trailer looked, it made me think that they were going to go for, like, a more, like, I don't want to use the word gritty, but I guess just, like, grounded story with Batman.
So that's
kind of like Christopher Nolan's movies in a way.
Boy, yeah, I'll have to work on getting your the Wi-Fi for here too. We won't we won't do it on the air. I don't need that getting passed around the streets. But
oh, well, you don't want the password right now?
I'll take it.
Well, you'll have to wait.
Dang. Teaser.
Yeah, I know. Next episode.
Does Matt get the password?
Tune in to find out this summer. So yeah, like I said before, we don't want to be tied down to any specific thing, and it's going to be lightly structured. I would say we're going to have at least one specific movie that we're going to talk about each episode.
Yeah.
Maybe more. So, for example, this episode we're going to talk about at least two specific movies.
Yeah. Well, almost like one person. Well, I mean, I guess two people, because the director did both films, so it's kind of we're talking about him.
Yeah, it's kind of more centered around the director for this episode.
I guess, yeah, the movies for sure, but what that guy did.
That guy being Nicolas Winding Refn.
Yeah.
So for this episode, we're going to be discussing Drive, and we're going to be discussing Only God Forgives, but it's more so going to be centered around him as a director, more so than probably the movies themselves, because we've talked about the movies themselves plenty of times.
Either or, because I mean, and like I said, I just watched Drive today. It's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
I should say too that we're probably going to be talking about spoilers for the movie.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen either of those films and you want to, I would definitely watch them before listening.
Or once you get to this point, turn this off, watch it,
pause the episode.
Yeah, and then turn us back on.
That way you don't miss the discussion.
Yeah,
the movie's fresh in your mind.
And see if you agree with what we're saying.
Honestly, even if you have seen the movies, pause the episode, go watch the movies, and then you'll be ready, set, go.
Actually, what I want when we get this out is, for whoever tunes into this, let us know if you've seen Only God Forgives before we talk about Only God Forgives. That's the one that I want to know about.
Yeah. That's like the more interesting one to gauge people's like feelings of.
Not even I mean, for me it's just like, who's that now? Like what was that? What's the movie name? Who did that?
Yeah.
The guy that directed Drive. Like, really? He made more films?
Yeah, and it's also starring Ryan Gosling, who was also in Drive.
And it came out after. I mean, like, you could have had, the hottest director with the hottest actor doing a movie that, like, when you just say it kind of out loud, like what it's about, like it sounds interesting.
Right. And like you look at the trailer and basically like, so I haven't seen the trailers for them. I've just looked at the views that the trailers get. And I assume that most of them are from before the movie came out, of course, because people were probably hyped that he was coming out with a new movie, also starring Ryan Gosling. And from the trailer, much like the movie itself, you probably just get basic surface level concepts.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're like, hell yeah, it's got sick visuals. It's got Ryan Gosling. It's got a sick soundtrack. Like,
Winding Refn did it. He knocked Drive out of the friggin' ballpark. Like, let's go.
Let's go. Wait a minute. What's that? Hold on. What does that say there? Written by Nicolas Winding Refn.
Hey. Well, at that time, that wasn't a... It wasn't a red flag, I want to say. It's like the girl, the girl that's got like the tattoo on the back of the shoulder, and you kind of see it, and you're like, oh, what's that? And then you keep walking. It doesn't really strike anything, but then all of a sudden you see the one down her leg and on the ankle, and it's like you start hearing about some of the past, and you're like, oh boy, a lot of red flags here.
Well, so in preparation for this, I did watch the Pusher trilogy, which is a series of movies. Nicolas Winding Refn's first movie was Pusher, which is a Danish movie that came out in 1996. The most notable person starring in that movie is Mads Mikkelsen, but he's not the star of the first one.
All three of them?
He's in the first two. So he's in the first one as like a side character, and then he's the main character of the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And then the third one focuses on an entirely different character, but...
Winding Refn style.
Yeah. And it's a very good trilogy. The first movie is very amateur. You can tell that he had a very small budget. The entire thing is shot in handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got like this weird sort of grainy documentary feel to it.
Yeah.
Which kind of adds to the atmosphere of the movie in a way. But I think it's a lot more refined in the last two than it is the first one. Because there's a big gap in how long it took for the second one to come out versus the first one. Because the first one came out in 1996 and the second one didn't come out until 2004.
Whoa.
Yeah.
2004?
Mm-hmm. But they do a good job of making it feel cohesive. Like it's a trilogy of movies. Whereas like you could pretty much watch each of them and get separate enjoyment out of them. I would say probably less with 3.
Yeah.
Because that character is also in the first 2 movies. So it kind of helps set him up if you watch the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just watched 1 and 2 on your own, like separately, they work well as like standalone films. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But he wrote those movies, and the characters, how they interact with each other are like very true to life. They're very grounded.
Right.
It's how people would actually talk to each other.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
At least as close to as you could get in a movie.
I mean, not to spoil it, probably a lot more than Ryan Gosling did in Only God Forgives. So.
Well, I mean, he only had 17 lines in that movie.
Yeah, and I thought 6 of them were like, Arr!
Yeah, one of them was screaming.
So, this other thing too, like I wonder if Winding Refn made it for a Danish audience, as opposed to like making Only God Forgives for an American audience.
I mean, maybe. I just think that he was still trying to figure out his whole style at that point. I think so, because there's a few elements of what he puts in his movies now that were in his early films. Like there's like the whole bright, like kind of neon light concepts every now and again. Like whenever they're in a club, they have their faces like extra lit up and very colorful.
Right.
Some of the soundtrack sounds very much like what he does now with like, yeah, kind of like the ominous beats and like the synth. The weird thing about the Pusher movies is that there was a lot more of an electric guitar in those movies. Like the intro song, which they use throughout all 3 of them, is like this really like rock heavy like guitar riff, like if you look it up, which it's only like probably 30 seconds long.
Would it be on Spotify?
I don't know.
Pusher 2 soundtrack.
Yeah. Pusher trilogy soundtrack, main theme, OST. But aside from that, there's still like those like synth moments, especially in like the last 2 movies, I would say. Whereas like the first one is mostly just like rock and roll, I guess. Not even like rock and roll, just like electric guitar.
Right. Like Eddie Van Halen was given the reins to do it. Yeah,
like Eddie Van Halen, give us a guitar riff. Picture in your mind someone running down the street who is in $150,000 in debt.
Oh, yeah, put that on.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what you get.
Okay.
But they're really good movies. I would recommend people watch them.
Do you think like Winding Refn was in like heavy debt with people? Because a lot of his films, and I mean, I know you can use it as like a plot device, especially builds up, suspense.
Yeah, and it definitely does in the first movie.
Do you think maybe he's like reflecting more than it is like getting the audience attention?
I don't think so for the first one. I mean, I think he had trouble financing that movie. Yeah. But at that point, he had his own production company set up.
In 96?
I think so. It was like, I think it was just called Nicolas Winding Refn Films.
Talk about original.
Yeah, when you watch the first 2 Pusher movies, that logo like comes up, and maybe so even with the third one. But I thought I read somewhere that after he made Bleeder, or no, I think it was Fear X.
Okay.
2 movies that I haven't seen yet. I think it was Fear X, that after he made that, it bombed so hard that it ended up shutting down his production company.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, you got to think too, like, you start up the Nicolas Winding Refn production company. It doesn't mean you're, like Miramax. All it is just a name. I mean, you could have $50 to your name and just have it on title.
You're just some Danish dude that made some good movies.
Yeah, wow.
At that point.
I think the verdict's still out. Like, it took him 8 years to get Pusher 2 going. So in between, though, he's got Bleeder and Fear X.
Yeah. Bleeder, which uses a lot of the same cast as the first Pusher movie. So it's got the same main dude. It's also got Mads Mikkelsen. It's got like a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
Honestly, I looked up the movie, like a poster of it, and it looked like a sequel to Pusher, but it's not. They're all like different characters.
Yeah.
And then Fear X, I think, is an American movie, or at least it has an American star. It's got John Turturro in it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. That's a big name.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure I don't remember like the premises of those movies. I'll have to check them out when I get around to it. But so I think after Fear X is when he was in financial trouble.
Okay.
So it wasn't for like a while. I think he was like doing okay until that point.
Sure.
And then
I mean, I'm just thinking like, all right, if I'm writing a film, like, what am I gonna do? It's gonna be something kind of around life events, and then all of a sudden, like, Drive centered around being in debt. I mean, almost God Forgives is maybe emotional debt, at least mine.
Only God Forgives he made, I think, because he wanted to fight God. He literally wanted to fight God while he was making that movie.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much like the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
Should we get into like the premise of Drive?
What one? Should we talk about? You want to do Drive first?
Let's do Drive first.
Only God Forgives. I had to block out in my mind, so I'm trying to capture whatever was left in there, still weeding its way out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Drive. Let's talk about Drive. Drive is fantastic.
I love Drive. It's one of my favorite movies, I would say.
Yeah.
And I didn't really appreciate it when I first watched it. Because when I first watched it, I think I had this expectation in my mind that it was going to be like John Wick. Because I was like coming off of a John Wick high, and I was like, oh man, this movie looks exactly like my kind of thing. And then I put it on, and I was kind of disappointed at like the lack of action in it. But at that time, I was just a dumb kid.
Now you know how I felt in Batman vs Superman. Yeah, so you got Drive going. So Drive. Mm-hmm. You kick it on. It was after John Wick. You're discovering kind of these action films, kick-ass protagonists or protagonists, as I know them by.
And I think I read online, too, that like people said, oh, if you love John Wick, you'll love Drive. Yeah. And I watched Drive, and I was like, well, it's good, but there's like not – it's pretty slow. It's kind of like a slower burn compared to
Well, I mean, dude, I would say like John Wick is like if – Gosling, the driver in Drive, was like fantasizing about like how kick-ass could I be?
Right.
Like that would be his movie. Like in his head, like that's his daydream, what John Wick did.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But so then I watched it, like I let time pass by and I would like listen to the soundtrack because the soundtrack is just amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I can give this another watch. And so I watched it again, showing somebody, and I just appreciated it even more for what it was.
Started crying.
Yeah, I started crying. I started getting choked up. I actually almost died because I started getting choked up.
Yeah, my brother calls it ugly crying when he sees something so beautiful or devastating.
Yeah,
like when you actually feel your heart get ripped in half. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first time when I watched Drive.
That was me at the end of the second watch through.
Appreciating it.
So I guess we should like go over the plot for a bit.
Sure.
So the movie is about this character played by Ryan Gosling. He's just referred to as Driver. He doesn't have an actual name in the movie.
That's how low on the budget he was.
Right. So the movie's about him. He by daytime he's like a Hollywood stunt driver. He drives cars and crashes them for a living, but he moonlights as a getaway driver for bank robbers and like heisters and things like that.
Which, I mean, like when you kind of think about it, watching it today, moonlighting as a getaway driver, like, I guess maybe the moonlighting aspect of it, because I was about to say it'd be like a prostitute, but that's in the same sense. Dangerous, but like, I feel like they're higher stakes.
Yeah.
Like to be that good of a getaway driver, like you'd have to I mean, I guess he does practice quite a bit.
Oh yeah, he's got experience.
But like, hey, I'm just gonna pick up odd jobs. Oh, I'll pick you up and drive away, and we'll get away from the cops. Like,
yeah,
it just sounds
That's his side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of us, like I make an extra like $600, helping out with concrete.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, I sell Avon. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, funny thing is, two random guys gave me a call on a burner cell phone.
Yeah.
And told me to meet them at 53rd Street in Hollywood, and that they just collected $200,000 and we had to get away. So I mean, we drove off all of 6 minutes and it was pretty good on my part, I won't lie.
All the while, I made it just in time for a basketball game.
Yeah, that's how that thing gets set up.
Yeah.
And then he's done, and then it's just back to I'm a driver. He is. They make him kind of badass, but like when you watch him and kind of think about it, like he's kind of dopey.
I think he's just he's closed off, is what he is. For sure. Like Ryan Gosling always like tends to like get typecast as like these same kind of like stoic characters, but there's something deeper playing underneath.
Right.
But I think he's cast in those roles because he's good at it. And this character is like no different from a lot of those other characters he plays, where he's kind of I wouldn't say socially inept, but just kind of socially inexperienced as far as normal interactions with people go.
Yeah.
He's kind of to himself. He's a bit of a loner. He has a small apartment that he doesn't share with anybody. He's constantly doing stuff that kind of create this sort of isolation for him. Like he works in this mechanic shop with like only this like one other dude who's played by Bryan Cranston, and then
the owner of the shop.
And yeah, he just the whole movie's about like him sort of like trying to like connect with someone, if you think about it. And then like when that's sort of like ripped away from him, it kind of makes him unhinged. Yeah. But so yeah, Ryan Gosling is a driver, and a cute neighbor moves in next to him in his apartment, and he kind of falls for her.
Did she move in? So I was watching it, and I was watching it on Peacock, so there's like
I guess I always kind of assumed that she moved in because he just like started noticing her.
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't always have to. He's isolated.
He is, so, yeah.
I mean, like, maybe he's always off at work at 5. She's always off at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was trying to get the feel for that because like all of a sudden they're at the grocery store, and then the next scene, he's walking into her apartment with the groceries. Now she's got a kid, and it's not like she's loose, or anything like that. It was just kind of like that happened quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I've ever met someone new at a grocery store, and then was like even like in college, like it would probably be like, hey, like if you need help, let me know. No one's gonna really say it. Like next scene, they're just in the apartment. He's got her groceries.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed maybe that's just me. Maybe that is natural. I don't know. Everyone listening is like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah. I think what they wanted to do is they wanted to just set up like the basic connections that they needed to.
I kind of like when I watch these things, it's like, does this really happen? Like, would that have happened in the real world? Like, do you run into your neighbor at some random apartment complex, and hey, I'll follow you home, or here are your groceries, let me help you? Like,
I think they made it believable enough. Like they did, like I said, the minimum that they could to establish a connection.
Yeah, I'm not that, and that's at the beginning too. Like obviously you can tell that this is the first time. Like, dude, I mean, so the movie starts out right. He's on the burner, and it's just he does his, which is a pretty badass. Like, you got 5 minutes. That's your window. Not minute before, minute after, I'm gone. All that, his whole kind of like boom, boom, boom. And then he's driving, He gets in, they do the thing. And then grocery store, Here we are. And it's just like, well, okay. Like it, and it's not like it was moving too fast or anything. You can kind of get the sense that this dude has a very routine way of doing things. So I get it. I just thought it was kind of humorous. It's like, here we are at a grocery store. Next scene, I'm in the apartment dropping off groceries.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I was like, all right, Gosling's moving quick. for a guy that doesn't know how to talk to anyone.
So we're talking about the plot, basically.
Yeah, so we've gone through that he wants to bone her, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
he
yeah,
snuck
yeah.
into her apartment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Strangled the kid.
Oh, no. I can't even say that because that started the whole. Not to get there, but the Oscar Isaac and all that. Like,
Yeah,
that
he
was-
doesn't strangle the kid, by the way. That doesn't happen in the movie. But yeah, so he falls for this girl who has this kid, and they form a bond. But then her husband, Oscar Isaac, comes back from prison, and
See, that's why I have a hard time of like, did they move there? Like, I don't think that like, it's just about to get out. Like, do you move to a different apartment when your husband's about to? I wouldn't know, but
right, and she did have the picture frame of the whole family already hung up.
Yeah.
So I'm at that point, I'm assuming no. Now that
Yeah.
I think about it.
I don't know. And it's not like we're here to call anyone out on anything. Like I keep saying, I just thought it was just it's good exposition,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy to get, But like, come
Yeah.
on, you're in the apartment, like you just met on the streets. He doesn't even talk that much,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's not off-putting. I don't know. Maybe she's got issues.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Her choice in men, her track record is not great.
Uh,
Both of them being criminals.
Well, yes. I was about to say, like, only if you get caught. And I was like, no, that doesn't. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Oscar Isaac did get caught.
Well, but you said choice of men. Check out Shame when you get a chance.
I heard that was good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe we'll have to talk about it in a recommendation. Maybe one of us can recommend it.
Oh my God, I don't know if I want to. Actually, it'd be like the Only God Forgives. Like I wanted to bite that bullet again.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to. When I told you, I was like, you got to watch it, and I was like, because I'd seen it one time,
Mm-hmm.
and like say Over My Head or maybe Under. I don't know, but
I'll have to check it out.
yeah, that's what
but
it's Carey Mulligan is her name. Is it? I think that's.
yeah, the
Casey
actress that
Mulligan?
plays
Yeah.
the love interest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said choice of men. It's like, all right, you think that's bad? Like, wait till we watch Shame.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Then we can have a whole nother just episode on her choice in men.
Oh wow. Just in movies across the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Oscar Isaac comes back from prison and he gets in trouble with, is it the Russian?
So he doesn't
mob?
get. This is what always, and I don't want to say confused me, but like it always lost on me. So today
Okay.
when I watched it, I was like, I'm gonna see why he's in trouble.
Mhm.
Okay, he in prison asked for Nino's protection. So
Okay.
Nino in prison had his guys watching out for Oscar Isaac so he could do his year stint, however long he was in prison for.
Yeah.
So he gets out and he says that he owes a debt. So he's like,
I knew he owed
today
a
it's
debt.
1,000,
I couldn't figure
tomorrow
out
it's,
why.
Or it's 2,000, and tomorrow it's 5,000. Now it's 10,000, and soon it'll be 20,000. He gets into the whole like, yeah. But that's why. So he had Nino when he was in prison asked for help.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I don't even know if we'll get into who those Nino and all those guys are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really he's in trouble with the mob. All right.
yeah. And,
Small time mob too. Like Winding Refn writing this, like didn't go like above and beyond. Picked cities. We're gonna have the small, like the underbelly of the city's gonna be involved, and it's not like he was with like the West Coast like family.
Well, here's the thing. You say that, but what's interesting is that this is the only movie of his that he didn't write.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Yeah.
That's why earlier when I said, "Wait, what's that?" Only God Forgives was written by Nicolas Winding Refn.
Oh
That's
man,
that's why
I kind of.
that's why I pointed that out.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that he didn't. Man,
Because I think it's based off of a novella.
it is.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yes.
And there's a sequel to that novella,
Oh my God! No wonder it's written so well.
right?
Ah.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Boy.
kind of to like hurry the summary along, so that we can get into like the meat and potatoes of it. Basically, Driver ends up helping him out because he wants to keep Irene safe. Irene being the name of Carey Mulligan's character. They both get into a heist. The heist goes wrong. He ends up having to kill some people along the way. He ends up losing his friend Shannon, his boss at the repair shop. And Driver basically becomes an unhinged mess because of it and kills a few people along the way. And that's pretty much it.
Like for a summary, for sure.
Yeah, so Oscar Isaac dies, and Carey Mulligan's character and her kid are basically forced to not be with Driver anymore because she ends up seeing that side of him.
So you get the gist. This guy, he goes on a rampage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's all because of a kid. Maybe he loved the kid more than he loved Carey Mulligan.
I think he loved them both pretty equally. I mean, he loved them as a family. That was basically like his family for a short period of time. He was very protective of them. He formed a bond with them.
Yeah.
He had a connection with them that he didn't really have with anybody else. I mean, you could argue he was friends with Shannon.
Here's a question for you.
What's that?
Do you think, because you say like they bonded and he loved them, right? Like,
I would say so.
Right. Well, I mean, I would too after everything he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, unhinged is a gentle way of describing what he did. Do you think he would eat Carey Mulligan to save the kid, or would he eat the kid to save Carey Mulligan?
What kind of question is this?
Like, who do you think he loves more?
Okay. I mean, he probably loves... I don't know. It's so hard to tell because he's like...
Yeah.
He gets really affected when the kid shows him the bullet that was given him by the mob dude. Because the mob dude gives the kid the bullet and he's like, pass this along as a message or whatever.
No, he says, hold on, don't lose this.
Yeah, don't lose this.
He tells the kid, don't lose this. He goes, you mind if I hold on to that for you?
Yeah. And then Ryan Gosling's like, oh, let me just take that. And then he goes into a strip club and just basically almost hammers the bullet down this dude's throat because of it.
Yeah, it's like first into the skull.
Yeah.
And then it's like, putting a nail in drywall.
Mm-hmm.
He had it lined up. I wonder what would have happened if he would have swung that thing.
I was very curious. I thought he was going to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was kind of too, and then I was thinking, like, how do I do? Like, if I was like that against the wall with a nail, like, am I going to hit it on the head?
Right. He just hits his thumb.
He misses the dude. Everything.
He just goes like,
ah! The guy rolls out.
Yeah. He just escapes. Spits the bullet out on his way.
No, but I'm saying, like, well, one, I don't want to have the visual of Ryan Gosling eating a kid. But I'm just curious.
I don't want a visual of Ryan Gosling eating anybody.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a good point.
I mean, unless it's well filmed and there's a good soundtrack.
Oh, I mean like sound editing or soundtrack?
Both.
Okay.
You get all the slurps and all the chewing and all the bone snapping.
Yeah, that's what
everything. Nicolas Winding Refn's new movie.
Oh my God, let's pitch it to him.
I was gonna give something away about Neon Demon, but
no,
I don't think you've seen that yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's that one's like oh my God, I would say like apple pie. That's gonna be the cherry on top. I'm waiting to.
I think you're gonna have an experience with that. You're gonna have stuff to say about that movie once you watch it.
I got stuff to say about everything when I see it. I got mad when frickin' Gosling walked into that chick's apartment after grocery shopping. Like literally, and I love driving. I threw my hands up. I was like, "Come on, like, what is this?" I know we're moving it along, but still.
So I guess we should say what we think about this movie overall. I mean, I think we already did. We already kind of touched on the fact that it's like one of our favorite movies. Yeah. Each of us, I would say. And it's a movie that I like tend to recommend to almost everybody. There's some movies that I really like that I would not recommend to.
Oh yeah. A
lot of people just because they're kind of hard to get into and
like 5 of my favorite films are adult entertainment. Definitely, that stays on a list in my back pocket.
They have the word film in them.
I'm saying, no, that's the safe choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the safe choice. Like, well, I shouldn't say safe because you could still go wrong.
You could, and I have definitely shown this movie to people who didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy this movie because it's slower. It's very stylistic.
Yeah.
It takes its time.
you know, I mean, like, here's the whole story, you know. So, getaway driver with the owner, the mechanic, right?
Yep.
So they're in business. The mechanic goes to the mob boss of the city, right? Kind of like, I don't even know. I know they're part of a family.
I would say like the whole coast, I would say.
But like you get the sense that they're like, it's smaller. Like they're not like they're in a restaurant. I mean, like it's, you know, so what I'm saying is, so he gets involved with them, right? This guy comes out of jail. He's somehow connected with the boss, right? And then they lead him up to pay off his debt to go steal money out of a pawn shop.
Yep.
You know, and that's it. Like I'm like, it's so concise. It's just, it's tight. It's a very tightly written script.
It's a very straightforward story.
Yeah.
There's no like convoluted side thing or anything. It's very straightforward. It's very centered on Ryan Gosling's character.
Yeah.
I think only like a few scenes does it ever deviate away from him, and it's in the context of them talking about Ryan Gosling's character.
Yeah, for the most part. I was about to say the only time I could think would be it's Shannon, when Shannon goes and approaches him for the first time. You talk about a guy that is like just can't get out of his own way.
Yep.
Shannon.
Yep.
Okay. But the funny part about that too is on the parallel side, Nino is of the same vein of Shannon.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like watching it today, I was like, oh, they're both, you know, Shannon's just the idiot of the ne'er-do-wellers, and Nino's the idiot of the family.
Yeah.
You know? He gets the tip about the $1 million in the pawn shop, and that's why he sets up Oscar Isaac, so he can go off him, take the money from him, and it looks like, you know, Oscar Isaac did it. So it's not even connected with the crime family.
Right.
You know? So I mean, like, and then they start talking about it. Him and who's Albert Brooks is in the film too. He plays.
He shaved his eyebrows
for this role.
Yeah, for that movie because it looks more intimidating. He said.
Really?
Yep. And I mean, I think it does. I think it works.
You know,
next time you watch that movie, look at his eyebrows.
I'm going to because So in that film, every time I've seen it, I go, "There's something off."
Yeah, yeah.
Like you know when you look at a guy and you're like, "What's missing?" And if it was a nose, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, his nose." But then sometimes, like, there might be a tooth back here or something. You're like, "Dad, he smiled at me. It looked like it just, you know."
Yeah, you have to like look really closely.
Yeah.
You're like, there's something wrong here, but I don't know exactly what.
It's so funny because I'm watching that thing today and I'm just like, I can't put my nose on it. But
it's like, man, normally Albert Brooks is really funny, and in this he just looks weird.
Yeah, like what? And now that you say that, I mean, like, yeah, it looks like it got burned off.
Yeah,
like it.
No, he shaved them. He would shave his eyebrows because he thought it looked more intimidating for the character.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a crazy. Hey, way to go,
Next
Albert.
time you watch it, just look out for that.
I know. Well, now I got to fear that I'm going to completely forget about it. And then when I talk about this with someone in like 3 years, they're going to say, like, do you know Albert Brooks? I'm going to be like, no way.
Gosh, it's going to be like the Lord of the Rings when Aragorn kicks the helmet. Did you know that he broke his toe?
Oh, no. The whole Albert Brooks, and the cool thing about that, or, you know, one of the cool things is that, like, he's always typecast. You know, he's a comedian. Mm-hmm. So for him to get into this role, you know, like,
it's weird that this was like one of the first movies of his that I'd watched. Like, I didn't have any context of him being a comedic actor before.
I didn't either. I mean, honestly, like, and this was like 2011, you know, so when it came out, I didn't really know much about Albert Brooks. I knew he was in Finding Nemo. Yeah. You know, he was the dad of that, but then, like, people started talking about his films and how he's a funny guy and this and that. I think the only other really movie I've seen with him is, Here on Earth or After. Oh my gosh, I'd have to look it up.
Is it that one where he like dies and goes to the afterlife?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only one of his I've seen too.
It's one of my favorite games I play with people. Like when you reach the pearly gates and like you have to sit down with God. Like, you know, all these moments in your life. Me and my brother were talking about it one day, and I go, I can't wait till I make it up to heaven and like God sits me down in front of the projector and he shows like how much like inefficiency I've had in life, and he can do the math of like, Yeah, it's about 6 months worth of not doing shit that you're gonna got back, and like it's just gonna be clips of me just doing something like, what were you thinking here, Mac? And I'm just like sitting there like looking at my homework, like I'll get to it, like things like that.
Gosh, that movie's a trip. Now that I think about it, I don't even remember the title of it, but
oh my god, it's something. Yeah, I wish I could too, because Meryl Streep's in
Meryl
it too.
Streep's in it. They like fall in love.
Yeah, in heaven. Remember they're trying to, and I spoiler.
And I mean,
trying to catch the bus back.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like the very end of it, dude. No, I mean, I heard about it because like one of the funnier things I heard was when he gets to his work. He gets home and he's talking about the raise and he wants more money and he's pissed off and he's just like, I'm not going to go in there unless they tell me it's going to be for $15 more an hour. I'm not settling for anything. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind.
And then he goes in.
Isn't anything for less than 15. I'm not going to take it. He goes in there. He's like, $350. He goes, deal.
Yep. He's just a spineless coward.
Yeah, and God, he's watching that with the dude. That's what I'm saying.
Albert Brooks is just like, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
I can explain, God.
Dude, yeah, because he's like sitting there, and then I was like, it is kind of like a funny premise because they got to go through the vetting process to get into heaven too. Like that's what it's about. It's like that vetting process of. Then remember, like they're going out to dinner and stuff. I mean, it's like literally like they're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're in like a tourist attraction, like vacation spot part of heaven. Yeah, where like they're not in heaven yet, but it's like the prelude, but it's not exactly purgatory.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if that was limbo? Like, I think I could. I don't know if I could do it though.
No,
I don't know. I mean, like, if that was limbo, like that place, like you'd constantly see. Like, I
feel like that place would be more of a positive vibe than like an actual place of limbo, though, because like when you think of limbo, you think of a place that just has nothing. Like, it's not bad, but it's also not good. It's just stagnant.
Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still, I have to listen to them. I've heard good things.
I didn't even know that they were a band. I thought it was. I watched Parks and Rec, and Audrey Plaza dropped that. Like Andy's like, I don't even know what the Neutral Milk Hotel is, and I thought it was a made up band. Like I thought they said that.
No, it's a real band.
I know. I found that out like on Spotify. And I laughed even harder. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, still haven't given them a listen. Shout out if you guys are listening though.
Neutral Milk Hotel. They're listening to this really local podcast. I don't even know where they're based out of, but anyway, back to Drive. I would say that overall this is probably Nicolas Winding Refn's best movie, probably his best piece of work.
Has to be, like, hands down.
Like, and I'm sure this is definitely one of those movies that like film school students have posters of in their rooms. Oh, kind of like Pulp Fiction or like Fight Club or whatever. But
yeah, you'd have to look up like some 90 like Leon the Professional. But I don't know if whoever directed that. I think
Luc Besson.
Yeah, did he make it?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or Luc Besson, because he's
Besson.
French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, you just want Ugly American.
I did.
Wait, well, how do you pronounce? Is it Besson or Besson?
I mean, you heard me pronounce it both. I pronounced it.
I heard Besson. I was like, oh yeah, and then you said that's the French way of saying it.
I think Besson is the French way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Luc Besson.
Yeah.
And then Luc Besson is what you say if you're just
singing a country song. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say this is his best movie for sure.
Hands down. Hands down. Yeah. I mean, coming out party for him.
Mm-hmm. Like the cinematography is great. The acting is great. The soundtrack is killer. The soundtrack helped introduce me to like a whole new genre of music.
Yeah. It really, what is it? Kavinsky and Night Call comes out. And then you got Real American Hero. Or is it
Real Human Being?
Yeah.
By College and Electric Youth.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you got that out. The synth comes out with it. No, for sure.
They play that song, I think, 3 times in the movie.
Yeah,
like at least 2.
Once at the beginning, once at the end.
Yeah,
and then it might be sprinkled in there somewhere. Maybe like when he's saving her from the guy with the gun.
Their song "You Keep Me Under Your Spell" when she's at the party and he's alone in his apartment.
I was like, it's so crazy too, because like that. Like, I'm like, I don't like being like hit over the head with like, how are these people feeling in this moment? You know, well, like when that song came on, I was like, all right, like I get, you know,
That's such a man. It just fit. It just fits so well.
yeah, it was. I mean, the whole tone, you know, it matches the tone.
Yeah, the music helps to showcase the emotions that they're feeling, and even though it's not subtle, I would say it's effective.
That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you get hit over the head with something, and it's just like, come on. But that one actually was like, all right, that it feels right. It's moving along. You both get it. Maybe you're starting to realize he likes her more than it's been alluded to. You know, maybe it's just helping out the audience because they're like, man, you know.
And I think it also shows how she's probably thinking about him too.
Well, sorry. She cuts in. It's Oscar Isaac. He's back home.
Yeah.
Out of prison.
Yep.
Right?
Like surrounded by his family and like people that care about him.
And he's just working away on an alternator or something. I don't know. It actually looked like Tony Stark, you know.
It kind of did.
Right? Like I don't know much about cars. Like if you're listening, let me know what he was working on.
Me too.
I don't.
We're not car guys.
Hell no. I know it, dude. It might as well have been the next Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Like all I know is that he had that ring light above him, and I started thinking about that. Like, man, how much wattage is that pumping out?
Little do we know that Drive is part of the MCU.
He was the Winter Soldier. Actually, that's what happened, and then he couldn't get cast.
Yep. It's like the Edward Norton, Mark Ruffalo situation.
Oh God. Yeah. We don't talk. There's also another one in that too.
Oh, Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle?
No. Eric Bana was a Hulk.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah,
when I was like 8 years old or
Dude,
however.
That one. So, quick story. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
So,
I'm very curious because I saw that movie when it first came out in 2003.
Yeah. So, yeah. I did too, but I was in 7th grade at the time. So.
Okay, you're a little bit older than me,
just a little bit. Listen, it's not, we're not trying to, measure here or anything like that. I'm just saying I was in 7th grade and I had a date.
Oh.
So I had a crush on I had a crush on a girl and her friend had a crush on me. So she kind of used it as hey, why don't you go out with so and so to this movie, And her friend was kind of, I don't know. She was oh my God, she didn't know how to like flirt or like how to like a boy.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like a boy either.
Like negging. You know what negging is?
I do, but explain for the people at home.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Kyle. Negging is when you pick out something on someone and like you highlight it in a negative way.
Oh.
So like, if I were to come, if I was wearing like a puka necklace, she would say something about how it looks ugly, how it's this and that, you shouldn't be, and like, so they really get on you about like a certain thing, and it's supposed to kind of show that they're paying attention to you, and also bring up like some negative aspects. So you create dialogue and like probably some sort of emotional, I don't want to say bond, but
I'd never heard that as a term before. I mean, I'm just acting as someone who might have never heard that term. Of course I have before.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, I get it. You're very scholarly.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, so
I know everything.
So, she wanted to go with me, and I was like, that's odd. Like, she's not like that one to want to go on a date. Well, I was like, all right, cool. So we'll go on a date. Parents are driving us out to the cinema carousel. We meet up there. We go see the Hulk with Eric Bana. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't really know much about Marvel. I'm just thinking, all right, I'm here with Aaron. Let's see how this goes, right?
Yep.
And there's this. I didn't say her last name, so I'm good. I don't want to start name dropping people.
Yeah, let's keep it to a first name basis.
Yeah. And so she, we're sitting there watching it, and we're eating popcorn. We're kind of like, all right, am I gonna put my arm around her? Like. Middle school is like the big and if you guys were more advanced, you don't have to let me know. But my issue is like, am I gonna put my arm around her or am I not? Like, what's this leading into?
I would say that's a middle school thought process.
Like, so I'm like, all right, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Well, she kind of started beating me to the punch.
Oh.
She was inching her way a little closer. Well, there's a scene in the Hulk that.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, for sure. I forgot.
You just got a 4D experience right there.
So, breaks, scares you.
Yeah, jump scare.
Oh, I just did it to them. So they're in with me. All right. Maybe they did to their significant other. She kind of jumped on me, and did like the
oh, okay.
hairy legs.
Is that a code word?
Right up my arm. No, just hairy legs. Like, and I don't want to sound like
you're not talking like just like 3-day-old non-shaved legs, right? You're talking like she just never shaved.
No, it was, and I'm not, she's in middle school, so like looking back on this, I'm not trying to like rat anyone out or do anything. It was just
you're just calling out a middle schooler for not shaving.
I'm just saying
legs.
At the time where I was at, like this is my experience with it, and it just was like, because you don't really think about like at that time, like girls having hair on their legs or anything like that, or hair under their armpits. So it scared me. Like I got like, and it might have been she just got close to me. Who the hell knows?
Right.
Maybe this was my chance and it was my way out. But I just remember like that movie. That'll be my forever experience with that happening, because like I didn't know what to do after that, and that's like halfway through the film.
So now when you think of Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk movie, you'll think hairy legs.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, there you go.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it with someone with hairy legs.
Yep. You'll get the full Mac experience.
So, anyways, yeah. So Gosling, he's constructing this stuff, and that song goes off, and it starts. It's like how does it go?
It goes, you keep me under your spell. Keep me under your spell.
So,
it's very repetitive, but it's kind of dreamy.
But it leads off into it with the dreamy kind of synth going. Yep. And it's him, and then once the the lyrics hit, it's they're zooming in on her. Yep. And you can tell, I think I don't remember if they did that where she's looking at the family portrait, and then she like looks at the door, But you definitely get that, like, oh, yeah, she's thinking about him, which I love, because I'm like, all right, it's not like, they're in love or like, but obviously he's made an impact in her life, and she's like, and you're having this whole thing go on with her husband getting out of prison, coming back. Yep. And so that music goes off, and that's when I was like, man, that's ham-fisted a little bit, and I was like, but, it feels appropriate right now.
I think it is appropriate, and I like the fact that they did that, because it shows that like she cares about him, and it's not like a one-sided thing. Yeah. It's not like it's all in his head. Yeah. Where like he likes her way more than she likes him. It's a pretty mutual bond that they formed. Yeah. And I enjoyed that, because like they could have easily gone down the route of like Taxi Driver, where like he clearly is like way more into her than she is him. And it's just like another like kind of unhinged sort of almost villain type movie. Yeah,
the unhinging in this one isn't even like, it's not even centered around. I mean, it's centered around her, but it's not her.
It's her, but also at the same time, it's like a loss of him having a chance at like a somewhat normal relationship.
You knew that in that elevator. That's what he did the math.
That's why he gave her a kiss.
Exactly.
Before he like let loose and stomped that guy's head in.
He's like, I gotta get one in at least. Mm-hmm. First kiss, maybe for people that happens in high school or middle school. For Gosling, 32.
He's like, this is basically my last sort of human interaction that I'll be able to have.
Yeah. Well, besides
at this point,
my foot going on this guy's skull.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that's way more animalistic, I would say.
Yeah. I got primal.
Yeah, a little bit. You could hear the drum beats in the background with each stomp. I don't think they played music at all during that scene.
No.
Like, they played the music while they were kissing, and then the kissing got done.
Dude, I mean, like, so Winding Refn at this point is just like going like, check me out. Mm-hmm. Slow motion. Yep. Right? Does the scan. So I'm guessing they get like an elevator, like a room, right, that they cut out so that he can sit out of it. And then he just in slow motion grabs her, and as he's doing it, the lighting.
Yep, it just changes.
Dim it, and the elevator light comes on just to show those two. And I'm like, this dog, man, like, what? How did this happen? How does he do this? And and then only God forgives. Like,
so I guess that's as good of a segue as any.
Yeah.
Talk about
so
Only God Forgives. Final thoughts on Drive.
Final thoughts on Drive.
Yep.
Love it. Just seeing it now, I didn't realize how tight the story was. Winding Refn's like the man with the lighting, and just he does a good job. I think he's better in roles or in production or filming
than he is writing.
Wow. I'm just saying, like, give him something concise.
Yeah.
Don't let his mind wander.
Yeah.
Which
I agree.
I think we'll talk about with. Do you think it wandered a little bit with the next one?
Just a bit, I would say.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit. So
you're the writer, all right, of the group. All right. I don't really pick up on metaphors in movie, as you can tell, or exposition is probably done elaborately, like Gosling walking in with the groceries.
Right.
But so that's why I'm gonna lean on you a little bit for this one, but like
that's fine.
My memory of it, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's nothing but a metaphor. Okay. And it's just hollowed out. It's like an Easter egg, right? It's like a really nicely painted Easter egg.
Yeah.
You look at it, you say to yourself, "Wow, this is like the best looking Easter egg that I could ever come across." But here's the thing. There's no candy inside the Easter egg.
That'd piss you off.
There is no candy in it whatsoever.
No, it's like worms.
It's like one dead, dried up worm.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
It's just enough for the kids to find and look inside and find something.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I guess I'll just summarize this movie as best I can. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I did watch a summary video in preparation for this.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell I was watching this again.
Why not?
I only have so many brain cells left.
Remember when we were talking about being up at the pearly gates? Mm-hmm. If you watch this movie a second time, you'll definitely have a film review with God.
Yeah. Like, no, he's going to judge me negatively for watching this again.
What were you doing?
Only here? God won't forgive me.
And that. and the best part is you're going to have to watch it a third time because he's going to make you watch it again.
I know, exactly. Oh, that would be so awkward. So yeah, basic summary of this movie. Directed by Nicolas Winding Refn, also starring Ryan Gosling, much like Drive, but it's set in Thailand, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. So definitely, so it is a foreign country. Like, it's not Chinatown.
It's an actual
like
country.
Singapore or something. Like, probably are they in Singapore? It's It's somewhere Indonesian.
Yeah, like
little balmy,
like Eastern Asia type area.
Yeah.
I think it's Thailand.
I don't want to speculate because I don't want to come off as, but I still have the title of not being an ugly American today. I hope. So maybe misogynistic at this point, but definitely not ugly American. All right, so I'm not gonna go down that route. Let's just say, somewhere where it's humid in the middle.
Humid and foreign.
Yeah.
So Ryan Gosling's character, named Julian, owns I think it's in Thailand because it's a Thai fighter dojo, right? It's like for Thai boxing.
I'm telling, I don't really like. I just all I was thinking was Singapore the whole time.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Dude, I think it was over my head in 10 minutes. Like,
I think I wanted it to be over in 10 minutes. So he owns this boxing place, basically, this like kickboxing place. And it's clearly a front for drugs. And he has a brother. His brother is named, I think, Billy. And Billy is not a good guy. Billy is kind of a piece of shit.
Prove it.
So Billy goes and he basically kills this young prostitute, and then it sets up a whole chain of events where this retired cop like basically comes out of retirement, and he kind of acts as like this judge, jury, and executioner character, goes around sort of displaying his power to people, and people are like always afraid of him. So then because of that, he intervenes and basically gets the father of the girl that Billy kills to kill Billy. And because of this, Julian's mother comes into town, and you can clearly tell that there's a very strained relationship.
Who's that actress too? That's is that Kim Basinger?
No, I don't remember her name. It's not her.
Not her?
No.
All right. I'm gonna say though, like pretty hot mom.
Okay.
Like she was definitely like a now what
do
she
you
did,
have
like,
parental issues that you need to discuss?
No, I'm just saying like what my point being is like if she doesn't like have conversations with Julian like later on in the film, it probably would have maintained that status.
Gotcha.
But,
if she had not talked.
Yeah, but there's like a big like she gets going on, and it goes from being like, oh man, like attractive mom to like,
yeah,
like not no association. But she was psychotic too, right?
I would say definitely manipulative and narcissistic.
Okay.
And incestuous, but we'll get into that.
That's where that's like where
we'll get into that. Listen, we'll get into that. So basically his mom comes into town, and like Julian doesn't really care that his brother died, right? He doesn't.
Yeah, he knew that
his brother was a scumbag.
Yeah. And
so the mom comes into town, basically berates Julian this whole time. Like, oh, Billy was like the best son, and he was like, he had way more like better features than you, and
we
all
don't
that
need to
stuff.
Do it. She let Julian know that she was that it was Julian that was killed, not Billy.
Basically,
yeah.
Yes.
So, which is kind of like a weird way of going about, because it doesn't continue on. Because where I'm thinking it goes is like a weird way to get someone to help you out with something.
Yeah.
Like you're a giant piece of shit. Like you look ugly, by the way. Like it doesn't.
By the way, I need you to do this huge favor.
It's like a weird pivot, right? Like,
yeah. So, anyway, I mean, what is there to summarize in this movie? Basically, like, it's just Julian and this cop character, who's they're like basically trying to like, Julian's like, his mom wants him to get revenge on this cop character, but then Julian knows like the severity of like who this cop character is.
Like I don't. Yeah, I mean that's
the cop character is basically God in the movie. So then, like, anytime Ryan Gosling tries to do something against him, it doesn't work out.
It was bizarre. It was like Superman, like watching like Superman in a film, but not.
Yeah,
But he was this. I mean, like, how do you want to go?
Weird old detective that liked karaoke.
Yeah, talk about bizarre.
So,
is there any way that you would get out into a bar and do that karaoke song that he did?
That karaoke song,
like that specific one.
If I knew it was a joke,
well, it would be. Like I'm not asking him to seriously do it. I don't think you could now after seeing the film.
I mean, maybe. I would have to. I mean, I don't speak that language.
Mandarin. Maybe not Mandarin.
I don't know. I can't
Thai?
say. Yeah.
We don't need to speculate.
I've
already said I'm not doing it.
So, yeah. So by the end of the movie, basically Julian's mom dies because the cop finds her, and then Ryan Gosling gets his arms cut off because he wants forgiveness for killing his father with his bare hands when he was younger.
Which is like another weird. Where did that come from?
It's all metaphor. The movie is nothing but metaphor. That's the thing.
I know, but like, all right, what are the metaphors for Gosling killing his father with his bare hands?
So, you know how he's like looking at his hands the whole movie?
Yeah.
Like he's just staring at his fists, and he's like his hands are like
License to Kill.
Like
Registered
his hands are
weapons.
basically characters in the movie at this point. Because he like wants to do these things with his hands, like he wants to like have a normal relationship with a girl. He keeps looking at his hands and thinking about like what he did. And so like him getting his arms cut off is like a form of forgiveness that he has sought. Like he goes to, I think his name's Chang, don't quote me on that, but I think the cop character's name is Chang. So he goes to Chang and he gets his arms cut off, and it's like he wants his arms cut off because he wants that forgiveness.
I know it gets alluded to, but I'm saying like, okay, so he gets him cut off. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just say like this is a normal thing that happen in life. Okay.
Okay.
How did that help him? Do you think he feels better?
It helped him because now he doesn't have to look at his hands anymore and think about what he did.
But he can't hug anyone either.
It's interesting because I guess there was a deleted... I don't know if it was a deleted scene or if it was just included in the script that they just didn't shoot.
Yeah.
But there was a scene where his like girlfriend feeds him food while he's like sitting there without his arms.
Oh, really?
And it was supposed to signify him having a more normal relationship at that point going forward, because he didn't have that regret or guilt with him, and he didn't have his mother in his life like bearing down on everything that he did and like psychologically abusing him pretty much. Like at that point
Winding Refn wrote this too, right?
Yes.
Like, do we have to ask him like what's up?
If you can call him up and get him on here,
yeah,
we definitely should.
I would like to. Yeah, maybe I'll tweet him or something.
Yeah.
I think,
was that a plug for our Twitter at Neon Crew Podcast?
Yes, at Neon Crew Podcast.
We have 4 followers. One of them is you.
Proudly. All right. Be a sad day when I hit the unfollow button.
What do you mean when?
Yeah. So I'm saying like. No, I don't know if I'd want to talk to them too, because like I think like sometimes people when they're a little too smart for their own good and they write things like only God forgives, like trying to figure out like to hear about that, I don't think I'd get the answers I want. You know?
Right.
Not to say like I'm looking for a certain thing, but like it's either gonna be like he's out there, right?
Well, see,
really, like I would be curious. Like, all right, man, like what happened in your life? Like, what happened?
I think he just wanted to make a movie about fighting God, because I thought his wife was going through like a bunch of medical problems when they were having their kid.
Okay.
At least that's what I think I heard. I could be wrong.
I mean, you're like it kind of seems weird though that like so you want to fight God, and I guess maybe it's so like
you want to fight God, but you also acknowledge the fact that he's God. So it's almost impossible to fight him.
Right.
And that's pretty much the big metaphor of the movie.
So he had to sacrifice his arms to lose that guilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
feel like there's just a couple heavy things. Like maybe if you trimmed it down to like can't fight God because he's God. Like I don't need the arms. Like if he doesn't lose his arms in that movie, maybe it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I mean,
because not only that, but like we're talking about the mom and she gets offed.
Yeah.
Like not get off, but she killed.
I know what you mean.
Okay. For people listening.
Good Lord.
All right. So I'm saying like, you know, that's retribution. Billy's gone. You know.
Yeah. Billy's gone. The mom's gone.
He probably comes to peace with this dude at some point. Probably asks him for forgiveness.
Yes.
Rather than like take my arms with you. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think maybe this film had too many metaphors for me. That it's just like it doesn't connect all the way.
Well, like so, what I find interesting was he didn't even want to pursue Chang at first at all, because he finds the dad, the guy that kills his brother. He finds the dad of the prostitute, and Julian is like, "Who did this to you?" And then the guy was like, "Chang, that cop," and Julian's like, "Oh, okay." And then he like walks out. Like he doesn't even kill the guy that killed his brother. Yeah. He doesn't even do what his mom originally wanted him to do.
Find your brother's killer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he goes, all right, Chang's the brother's killer. Like this guy is just a patsy.
I don't know, because like throughout the movie, it's very clear that like he sort of has an idea of like who Chang is and like what Chang is all about. Like he has those visions of him.
Yeah.
When he's like sitting in that room all bound up.
Yeah.
He has an idea of like the sort of power that he has. So it's, I mean, to me, it was like he just didn't even want to do it because, one, he doesn't want to be controlled by his mom.
Yeah.
But he so very much is because he's
that's
manipulated.
Like another, like that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, take out the mom in this thing. Like, couldn't you have like your brother's wife come in here and try to? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think they needed the mom to like for that like familial connection, because like the whole thing of the movie is like he's basically controlled by what his family did.
This is what I'm saying. Like, so he's controlled by the mom for what he did to his dad.
So like, okay, so he kills the dad with his bare hands.
Right.
The mom, like, and there are scenes in this movie that like make obvious. It makes it obvious that she has like a very inappropriate relationship with both him and his brother.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, take that out of it, like the weird, whatever. That's what I'm saying too. Like, that's.
But that
like,
kind of.
do you have to have that in there?
I mean, in Winding Refn's mind, I'm assuming it just contributes to the fact that he's easily manipulated by her.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so you got exposition for that, right? Like, can't you have something in there that? Because this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why it's just a weird. Like, every time I hear it, like, I'm just like, all right, there's 3 or 4 really big things that are going on that all of them live in their own world that he threw into one movie. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, so obviously he's got the thing with his hands.
Yep.
Right? The guilt. Okay.
Yep. The guilt and the regret with his hands.
The weird relationship with the mom.
Yep.
Okay. And then you got
his inability to be in a normal relationship with a woman.
Yes. So, yeah, I think this has got something to do with Winding Refn.
Probably.
Like, I'm like, now I'm hearing about this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely like something happened.
The movie, it just it makes me question myself every time I talk about it, because
question yourself.
Just question like what it was going for, I guess.
You hit it on the. I think he got out a lot of emotions.
Probably. It was probably therapeutic for him.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it was a burden to us, though.
In the primal scream that Gosling gives is probably like what he wanted to do.
The one of 17 lines that he had, yeah.
Yeah, like that really weird, just, yeah. So, I don't, I remember when I watched it the first time, obviously I thought this was going to be a kick-ass dry film, right?
Right.
And then not it. I mean, like, seriously, like, if you set it up, though, like, all right, Gosling, he's in a foreign country. Brother gets killed over drug problems, right? Mm-hmm. And his mom comes in to tell him to get revenge. Like, that's it. Like, that's how that's how it was proposed to me.
Yeah.
Not, like, okay. And then you watch it, and you're like, 15 minutes in, you're like, dude.
It's like they tried to make it bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think he hit, like, there's 4 giant things that are happening that are, like, probably a little too sensitive or not. Like, I guess the mom and his, because of her relationship with him, why he has a relationship with the chick in the film. But I don't even know if the chick in the film was necessary. Like, I don't think she really added or...
She was definitely used as a device for
to
sure.
show his like emotional like problems, right? Like,
yeah, to show the fact that he wants to have a normal relationship, but he can't.
Yes. So, like...
That's all she is.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, she's all of a sudden in here getting written into this, and really she's just used to show something wrong with him, which stems from the mom. So,
like, her character is not a character.
So, like, you take out the mom, that other issue goes away. Mm-hmm. Now it's just down to, okay, Billy's dead. Someone else is asking you to get revenge. It could have been Billy's wife, something like that. And you can still have this, like, weird, like, I have a problem with God, so I'm not going to do it. And then you could still have the thing with the dad, because I don't even think he could have just killed his dad because his dad was, like, an abusive drunk.
Right.
And he just, that guilt just weighs on him, know? So that's why I say, like, when I watch the little thing on it, on YouTube and kind of having them, give their 2 cents on it, I'm like, I think that I think he wanted to hit like a home run, right? Or maybe it was therapeutic. Maybe he was just like, I gotta get this out.
That's my summary of the movie. Is that sigh right there that I just did, because that's how it makes me feel when I think about it. So can we talk about the karaoke scenes?
So not to say I don't remember much, but I feel like it was just like a camera that was set up
It was like two cameras. It was one facing the audience, which was nothing but cops.
Yes.
All sitting still, not
Right.
blinking, looking at the stage. And then
Right.
the other camera was pointed at Chang on stage,
Yeah.
singing karaoke. And it is the driest thing. It is so boring. And it's very off-putting
So
for the rest of the movie.
how many? He did it twice, right? Or was it?
He did it 3 times.
3 times. I was
3
about to say,
times.
'cause I remember so this is what happened. The first time it happened, I like laughed. Like I thought it was supposed to be like comedic, because I don't know where the film's going.
Right.
It's just a really bizarre film at this point. Because I think the first time he does it, it's got to be like right in the first 20, 30 minutes of the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, probably 15. It's only like a 90-minute film.
It's short, but it feels so
Oh
long.
my god, it does. So he does that, and I remember laughing because I was like, "Oh man, like that's really bad," you know. And maybe this is like the levity of the film,
Right.
you know, like it's gonna be like we'll make fun of this guy singing, and you still don't know. I mean, you kind of have an idea that this guy's pretty serious about like what he does, you know, about. And then the second time it hit, I'm like, "All right, this is 6 minutes of my life I'm not getting back."
Yep.
You know, like it just hits and you're like, this isn't funny. I don't know why they're doing this. Do you have like a legit like as a writer? Like
It's
you're writing the second karaoke scene. It's after a certain something happened. I'm probably guessing a death.
As a writer, no. As someone who watched a summary video on the movie before recording this, I think I heard somewhere that Winding Refn heard that it was like singing those songs at like a karaoke bar was almost like a religious experience.
Sure. That was my second.
And that's kind of how like the character feels towards it, because he does it after he commits some sort of act with his sword, whether it be like punishing someone or like
That's
air quotes forgiving someone.
It's a weird way to forgive someone.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how Ryan Gosling was forgiven at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
when he gets his arms cut off.
Is when the third scene pops up, and then the credits roll, right?
Yep.
Like
the credits are rolling while he's doing karaoke.
Yeah.
And you're just left sat there,
wondering what you watched.
Yeah, regretting not going to the drive-thru to pick up a burger and instead throwing on this movie.
Oh my god! Like, I'd really like to see someone that hasn't seen this film and record that, like do a watch party. I'd have to wait though until so that they didn't hear this, just to see their face like when the movie ends. Like,
it might become an ASMR thing because they might fall asleep. They might fall asleep during it. I wouldn't blame anybody for falling asleep during this movie.
You could fall asleep in it. Your mind would be racing too much by the confusion.
Oh.
Boring films, for me, that you know where they're going or that are very, step-by-step process, that's what will put me to sleep. This film, whether I knew what was going on or didn't, whether I didn't know what was going on, I couldn't. There's no way, because I'm trying to process so much crap happening.
Yeah.
Dude, like, you get to the first karaoke scene, and it's just, he's just singing karaoke after he killed someone.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
It's jarring. It's very jarring.
And it's so freaking dry. Like, that's why I was laughing, because I was like, I think maybe this is like a comedic effect.
And no one in the audience looks like they're enjoying themselves. They're just so stoic.
Because that's what Winding Refn does. Have you ever like in those scenes where he has like mass audiences, that he wants them to be like mannequins, like that, and like the scene in Drive in the strip club. Those chicks sit there like mannequins.
Yep.
Like in the TV show, Too Old to Die Young.
Yep. Everyone that's at the restaurant.
Clubs.
Yep.
Anytime they sit there, they're mannequins. Like, I think it's kind of like, because of the lighting, I think it makes it like look pretty cool,
It's there's so many cool shots in this movie. That's probably the best part of it.
I'm not going to lie. Like, the karaoke shot of them sitting there and him up, it's a good shot. Like, if he was singing La Bamba, right? Mm-hmm. And like was twirling the mic and like did like a splits and like was like, I would be like, wow, that is, because it's a still. It's just a track. It's not even a tracking shot. You're just he's hitting all his marks.
Yep.
Right. He's doing the song. He's got to do it all in one take. Like, that's cool, but like,
he's just standing there.
Oh my god! And it's like, isn't he like kind of doing like the thing with his body where he's rocking back and forth a little bit because he's like trying to get the metronome going?
I didn't even remember if it went that far, honestly.
Literally, like the only thing. I mean, that and his like weird dream that he had was like the only thing I really remember from this film. Like the reason why I remember karaoke so much is because I was burned by it.
Yeah.
Like I wish it.
I remember the cool dragon fire wallpaper.
Yeah.
The neat looking wallpaper in the hallway whenever he had his like dream or vision.
When he was going to the door, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he has that like, I think he has that like 2 or 3 times.
The dreams?
movie. Yeah.
Dude, there's so
where
much
he's, like,
stuff
in
that
hallway
happens in this movie that for 90 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot that happens and there's nothing that happens.
Well, I mean, like, it's a good point. Like, there are probably like, it's funny because like if you went to the DVD, like a scene selection, probably like 36 scenes for a 92-minute film.
Yeah.
Like
normal movies that are that length would be cut in half.
Yeah, like you're like thinking like, all right, there's probably gonna be like 20 scenes, like scene selections, if that. Maybe between like 16 and 20, right?
Yeah.
This was like 2-minute pops of shit that doesn't make sense.
Man, so you remember the scene where he gets angry at those 2 dudes in the club when they like interrupt his vision, and he knocks one out and he basically like drags one by like the top of his mouth across the floor.
Oh yeah, he kind of did like one of those moves.
Yeah, he like grabs him like a bowling ball and just like carries him off.
Hook him, but it's like he's got his whole mouth in there.
I was so excited when that scene happened because I thought finally something is happening. Like Ryan Gosling's character is letting loose. He's gonna do what he wants, and then he drags him off screen, and then you'd never see anything come of it.
Why would you? That would be way too cool. Like,
you're not wrong.
They probably got edited out.
The scene exists somewhere.
What's
we just can't get to
it. What's this doing in here?
Yeah. Is that your Winding Refn?
I don't know how
impression?
he talks.
Can
I just
you give it?
like thinking like Danish, but I don't. Exactly. I'm not also trying to be like I don't want to make fun of nationalities. I don't really know.
You're not making fun of nationalities. You're just making fun of Winding Refn.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
And if that's even how he talks, maybe he's got a voice like mine.
I've actually never heard him speak. I've never heard what his voice sounds like.
The only story I ever heard about Winding Refn is they were shooting Drive, and Cranston was interviewing for the part.
Okay.
And had to I think it was Cranston, pick him up at his house. Mm-hmm. And Cranston drove him around the city as they kind of talked about it. And it turned out Winding Refn needed to go somewhere. So it wasn't like a stage call, casting call, as it was like an
appointment.
I got to pick up groceries, Brian. So, and then he found out as he was going back home that Winding Refn didn't have his license.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he was the guy. He'd always just.
Is that because he's from the Netherlands and he was in America?
Maybe not. But I honestly think it's just because he is insane. So he just sits in his house and like thinks about cool shots and like writes film. Yeah. There are people that are creative like that are like, I only get out once every other week. Like I'll just ask so and so for a ride. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like that ludicrous, but. Kind of get Cranston in on it. I don't know. I felt bad.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, he had an opportunity to be like a fly on the wall to like interact with the guy.
Cranston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's just a seemingly normal dude picking up this eccentric director.
Yeah.
It's like Brian, I got to get groceries.
Oh, dude, Cranston.
I don't have a car.
Cranston's got like he's had. So I when he got into some of his stuff, he had like a crazy. He was on a couple podcasts that I was listening to, and I looked up some stuff on him. Crazy background, but just really super genuine, dude. I'm almost like he's a guy that I don't think would like really care. Like I don't know anything about Bryan Cranston, but like just from everything I've ever like heard him talk or appear in or whatever, he just sounds like a guy that's just like, yeah, sure, I'll come pick you up, no problem.
Yeah. He wouldn't have any issue with it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's my Bryan Cranston. Should have been an Only God Forgives.
Yeah, would have made the movie better, probably.
Yeah. Well, it could've made
Although
it
he would have
worse.
been only in it for 10 minutes, and then they would have like centered the trailer around him, and then kill him off in like the first 10 minutes,
That's
like
gonna be
Godzilla.
on. Yeah, I was about to say that's down the line.
So I tried watching this movie the first time and only time I watched this movie. I had my roommate Gideon watching it with me, at least like the first 30 minutes of it, because he had to go do something, so he couldn't watch the whole thing. But it's funny because he had like no issue with like missing any of it, and he's somebody who like loves movies. Like he loves movies, he loves talking about movies.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he watched like the first 30 minutes of that movie, and he's like, damn. And he like got up and left, and I don't blame him at all, because I wanted to, but I also was curious as to where the movie was going to go and why it was so polarizing to people.
Yeah.
Because I heard that this is one of those movies that both got like booed and a standing ovation at the same time at Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which I think that's like a more common thing than people think. That happens to movies all the time.
It probably means that. So maybe it means you're a mediocre movie. Like maybe that is actually
it like balances out.
Yeah, like either you get booed, which shows that you're bad, or good. You know, and then like the ovation's opposite.
Right.
Like, the ovation is either, you know, like I could see Cannes being like, you know, film snobs.
Oh yeah, for
so
sure.
Like a film snob goes in there, watches a film, and they're like, "Oh, boo, sucks," you know, and then it hits like general market, and we're like, "Man, that's pretty good."
Yeah, yeah.
And then you got like things like Only God Forgives. Like let's just say they all applauded it. Like you see like one person crying.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like that's what you get. You know, so I think maybe that's actually the best thing, that maybe it is just a mediocre film.
I'd love to go to one of those sometime. That would be an experience.
Yeah.
Just a film festival.
I mean, like,
I've never been before.
No, me neither. I don't. So I have a hard time like going to places like where I don't know as much as everyone else. So like living. And so
being alive.
Yeah, you know, like going into McDonald's is a struggle. So, you know, like going to that, I think I'd be like, well, one, like maybe a little intimidated unless I could do like, you know, well, actually, really, I wouldn't be if I could ever just talk about driving Only God Forgives with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd probably take my arms after it.
Right.
Or ask me to take theirs. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
both.
But like, I don't, to watch the movies themselves though, I don't know. I haven't seen enough like artsy.
Well, maybe down the line in this run of podcasts that we do.
Oh yeah,
we can watch some more artsy fartsy stuff. Maybe go to some events if we're able to.
Yeah,
and kind of report back what we experience.
We gotta what we gotta do is get a list of whatever was that. Sorry, something in my throat. Whatever was at like Cannes, like we gotta find, you know, something and be like, let's check that out.
Yeah,
like that's got to be the barometer.
Yes,
or whatever.
Something quaint, but also well acclaimed and like lauded by those.
I mean, like I don't know about all those big words, but you know, like, hey, this is good reviews.
Hey, yeah,
like,
this is pretty good, right?
Like,
yeah,
let's see something with good review, and then like we got to dip our toe, you know.
Yeah, kind of test the water, see how it goes.
Because they're supposed. I mean, I don't know how many come out, but they got tons in every category, right?
Yeah, I'm not even entirely sure how the system works. Like, well, like I said, I've never been to one, so
yeah. Well, we do have dem internet, so I might have to check it out and see how it goes down over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something possibly down the line. If we can get up to 15 followers.
All right, so should we put final thoughts on Only God Forgives?
Yep, those were mine right there.
I could hear it. My final thoughts are: this is the definition of a movie that is all style and no substance.
Really?
Yes.
That's like provocative.
Anytime I hear that phrase, which is quite often, like almost every day, right?
From your manager?
Yeah, talking about me. whenever I hear that phrase, I think of that movie. That movie is the embodiment of that term to me.
I'm not saying like disagreeing. I think that it has, you're saying all style, no substance, right?
I mean, maybe not no substance, but I would say it's shallow, right? It's like a shallow pool.
See, that's where I get, so I would say that this is just a film that is in over its head. Like, I think he had a lot that he was trying to say, connected like a lot of dots. Because I don't want to say there's no substance. Like, we just talked about like 4 huge concepts in the film of like, you know, the emotional attachment with the girl, with the problem with the mom, cutting off your hands. Like, I don't want to say, like, to me that's like not substance. Like,
yeah,
that's substance, but it's just like,
it's but it's like the skeleton of the movie, basically.
What?
Like the concepts. Like, it's I mean, you can have a cool concept for anything, but if it's not executed well, then I would say it's pretty hollow.
Yeah, I don't know. Misexecution to me doesn't make it hollow. I mean, missing your mark doesn't make it hollow. I think it was just, yeah. I would say for me, I would say the guy, he just in over his head. Like, I think that he was trying to hammer too many things. That's why I'm curious as to like why he wrote it. Like,
yeah.
what were you going through, my man, that made you write all this? Because like the mom's weird.
Yeah.
The guys are losing arms. God's involved.
Yep.
And Ryan Gosling's primal screaming in a hallway at one point.
Yep.
Like, I don't even remember why he did that.
He did it because his mother embarrassed him in front of his date.
Oh.
And by embarrassing him, basically telling his date that Ryan Gosling has a small penis compared to his brother.
Oh, so that's how that went down?
Yeah.
So that was the second time she did that to him?
Second or third.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does that she does that in front of his date, and then they like leave together, and then she says something about his mom, and then he gets really pissed at her to the point where like he screams at her to like take off her dress in the middle of the street, like in this alleyway.
Right. That's what I'm like. That's not like. So you write that into a script, like, you know, like that's not normal.
You know, it's conceptual.
Maybe you're talking like maybe you're, when you say no substance, just like it's way too high of a concept that there is nothing there.
Well, like it's like it's concept, but then there's like not really much else. There's ideas and there's metaphors, but I mean, what's underneath all of it? Like,
well, how would I? So, you know, I don't want to do closing remarks, but like, how could he have did it? And like, you know, like, do you ever think about, like, you sit, like, we watch and we're kind of judging them. It's like, well, how would you have changed it? How would you have hit that home? How would you have made Mac Parker realize, you know, the guilt on his arms and this, you know, trying to think. The mom thing, I thought he hit the mom out of the ballpark in terms of being like weird and insidious.
So I would maybe keep the mom the same character, right? Okay. I wouldn't really change her.
Right.
I would give Ryan Gosling, like, basically give him the same character that he had in Drive. Make him like this sort of like built up sort of like
right
emotional instability underneath the surface, but it's subdued towards the beginning and it kind of releases towards the end in some way. It doesn't have to be like this sort of unhinged, rageful thing. It can be like a deep sadness. It could be something where that sort of like regret just catches up to him and it eats him up inside to where like he breaks down.
Okay.
Not necessarily maybe like screaming at somebody, but just like sort of folding in on himself. Like the weight of it just crushes him, which you don't really get that indication in the movie at all. He just kind of stands there the whole time looking at his hands.
Well, you get it. I mean, like, I guess you get it when he gets him.
You get it when it happens.
Yeah, like that's
it.
Yeah.
So I would do something along those lines. I would give Mai more of a character, like his girlfriend, prostitute, whatever. I would give her more of a character instead of just making her a plot device.
Right. Seems kind of unfair for her too.
And I would Get rid of all the karaoke scenes, and that's how I would fix the movie.
That's it?
Yep.
All right.
That's all you have to do.
Easy enough. Looks like Only God Forgives 2's coming back.
Yep.
Apparently God doesn't forgive.
Don't worry, Winding Refn. You'll have a different writer this time.
Yeah.
You don't have to burden yourself with anything like that.
We're giving you the substance, mother trucker.
Yeah.
You just make it look cool, bitch.
Yeah, dude. You just hang back. Let the pros do this.
Oh yeah, man. We're
How long have we been running for?
there's an hour 52 on there, so I think I'm not like. Let's do. So what we gotta. So that's it. So that's Only God Forgives and Drive. That's kind of what you guys get.
That's what you get.
It's what. Well, at least it's my thought on it. Well, people gotta check it out. I mean, I'm curious as to how, if you haven't seen them, like what you thought, because that's what happened with you. You know, I came in there and I was like, yeah, I think you said recommend like a bad film or something. Like we started talking about it.
We'll definitely recommend movies that are like of lesser quality.
Yeah, but I'm curious as to how other people kind of they interpret it. That was my thing. Like when I
want to meet somebody who likes the movie. Like I want to meet somebody who watches it and actually enjoys it.
If she's over 40, run away.
Are you talking about
I'm saying like if you you're saying you want to meet someone and it's like some 43-year-old chick that has a kid.
No.
And then she's like, I enjoyed it.
No, I'm just talking about anyone in general.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about this in general person that you walk into and she happens to be a mom and she starts telling you how she enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Steer clear.
She identifies with the mom character.
She just gives you like that. I thought it was really good and I thought whoever. I wish I knew who the mom was. I thought it was Basinger the whole time.
We can, I have access to the
Wi-Fi.
interwebs. I can look it up for you real quick.
Yeah, so, and I can go on about how, in general, best person to run.
Kristen Scott Thomas.
Really? Let me see this.
She looks a little different in her Google images because she has shorter hair.
She had like long blonde hair.
Yep,
right?
she had long blonde hair in the movie. If you look her up, she has short brown hair.
Yeah, and I guess I sound like the dumb jock that's like, attractive mom. She was attractive in the film, just,
She was trashy, I would say. Like,
you think so?
I think so.
She wore a dress.
You can still be trashy and wear a dress.
But I mean, like you're I'm just saying, like, without the dialogue.
I mean,
like,
she was just trashy as a person.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not necessarily saying she looked trashy. I'm just saying her being trashy attributed to her unattractiveness for me.
Right. Well, that's what. Yeah, I'm thinking more of like when she gets off the plane. Now, dude, when they sit
the very
down,
first scene that you see her in.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh man, like that's like a go. And then like you get into the bar scene or whatever, like her and Gosling finally start like talk for the first time. Really, like that's when I wrote her off in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually every character, I think when they talked for the first time, maybe that's why Gosling had so much of a grace period.
Yeah. Only 17 lines.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. So yeah. There's if you haven't seen Only God Forgives, check it out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. What would you recommend people do? Watch Drive first and then Only God Forgives?
Oh, of course. Because I don't know if they watch Only God Forgives if they want to watch Drive.
Right.
Like that.
It might turn them off to it.
Yeah. Seriously. I almost did that when we, Too Old to Die Young. Check it out. It should be good. Then you watch 2 episodes. You're like, yeah.
I didn't even watch 2. I watched 1.
Well, yeah.
And
all right. Well, you don't have to defend yourself.
I feel like I have to.
And it was like, yeah, about that.
Do you want to touch on that for a bit? We can stop talking about Only God Forgives. We can touch on Too Old to Die Young for like a couple minutes.
No,
maybe.
We'll save that.
You want to save that?
Yeah, because that's a whole nother. Because I've watched more than 1 episode.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have 1 episode. I've got 9.
You've got 9?
Yeah,
Dang.
Well, no, 8.5.
You're almost done, pretty much.
Yeah,
Are you gonna watch it all?
This was a year ago.
Oh, okay.
No,
You're not gonna watch it all?
Well, probably not. Like,
I mean, I don't blame you.
No one will. I don't. The only guy that think that, like my brother. I don't know how. There are like I will say like with all most of Winding Refn's stuff besides Drive, because Drive's like complete, you know, and like from what I've seen, I shouldn't say it like because I guess Pusher's good.
Pusher is good.
The series. So
I would recommend Pusher.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check
especially
that
the
out.
second one.
But like he has these like individual shots that you can take, you know, like he's just like the elevator scene in Drive, the strip club scene when he's like got the hammer and he's holding it up, you know, the moonlit shot on the beach when he's got the mask on and he's going.
Yep.
He's got all these like cool and like so. Watching, you know, Too Old to Die Young, he has that in there.
Yep.
It's just sandwiched in between like 40 minutes of shit. So I mean, like, it's not the easiest to be like, all right, I'm gonna get to this gem.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So like,
this diamond in the rough.
You thought Christy Thompson was weird, and in that like the Baldwin character in Too Old to Die Young.
He was in the first episode.
Yeah, he's in all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
cool.
And he does some, like.
You know, we'll save it. We'll save it for another time.
We have to, because, like, it's, yes.
Okay.
For sure.
So, yeah, check those movies out. Let us know what you think. I'm excited to hear what people have to say about them other than us. So I guess we can wrap things up. This will be like towards the end of the episode. What I figured we would do is we would flip a coin, and whoever side it lands on, one of us could recommend a movie for the next episode.
Oh, okay.
So, and
Homework.
then that'll start the alternating back and forth of who recommends what. So if it lands on me, I could recommend a movie for the next episode, and then the next episode you recommend something to me, and then it just goes back and forth from then on.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I guess I do like the coin flip. We did talk about doing, or like alternating. I also think I've always been a big on betting on something, guessing something, and loser pays up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah. Well,
for the future.
Coin toss is kind of happening there, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like there's a little retribution at the end of the road.
I see your wallet is right there. Do you have a coin in it? If not, I can always go get one real quick.
I think I have. So.
All right.
We have a Oh, by the way, if this is worth anything more than 5 cents, let me know.
What?
You know, they used to make pennies in World War II. There's like they had a series of pennies in World War II that weren't made out of copper but a different material. Okay. So they were like dyed, like brass. Like what are pennies made out of? Copper, brass?
I don't know. So
these pennies that were made out of a certain material, right? And it was in a limited series because of where material was going for the war. Mm-hmm. So in 1940, it's like a 1945 penny or something like that. Okay. Is worth, I think it was like $2,000. Because there's not a whole lot in currency. It was just like when they
just
made
the rarity of it.
Yeah, like during this stretch period of time. So, I mean, however many are out. Like, what happens to pennies when you pay? The bank just holds them? Do they melt them and make more pennies?
I couldn't tell you.
Is money recycled? I don't know.
Is money real?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here going on and on. But anyways, no. But there are coins, like you'll have certain... There's series of coins that could be maybe misprinted, this and that. They become collector's items. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm just saying if a Liberty, well, it probably says Liberty on everyone, but in 1964, In God We Trust, In
God We Forgive.
Yes.
Yep. In God We Trust to Forgive Us.
All right. So am I flipping this and you're picking it up? You ready?
So, well, we have to call what side is what.
Call it. Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
All right.
Call it.
Yeah, call it.
Call it. This is the most important coin toss of your life.
It's been traveling.
It's been traveling all this way to get to you.
And now it's your turn. You must call it.
You must call it. Heads. I call heads.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
That fell on the floor. It's tails.
Yeah.
You get to pick. You get to recommend the next movie.
Big time. Bleed it.
Don't feel like you are restrained to one movie either. You can recommend 2 or a trilogy. Whatever you feel like.
Whoa. Well, this is how, like, let me see what I got on my IMDb. I'm going to have to get the Wi-Fi so I can load this up quicker. Recently viewed?
I'll give you the Wi-Fi. Next episode. We teased it.
Yeah. Let me see. I got to think of something that maybe you have or haven't seen.
Either one. I'm down for whatever you pick.
Let me see. What do I got here? I should have had this, like, lined up. Don't you think?
I was just gonna pull a random movie out of my butt, but
Really?
yeah. Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest
So, I
with you.
mean, like, have or haven't seen, it doesn't matter. Like,
It doesn't matter.
We're just going to talk. We'll just
talk about whatever you decide to pick.
Ooh.
Sounds like you found something.
Just because I wouldn't mind talking about this movie, and I wouldn't mind rewatching it myself.
Okay.
Talk about it. It's an action film, so, I mean, maybe not a whole lot of talking. Oh, my God. Who directed it? Why can't I think of the director's name?
I'm very...
Of course, Michael Mann.
Oh.
There's so many Michael Mann films. You like Collateral.
I love Collateral.
And have you seen all right.
Heat?
Yes.
It was...
Have you seen Heat?
I've seen Heat. I saw the last half of it long time ago.
Oh my God.
So I could do to watch the whole thing.
Manhunter. Have you seen Manhunter?
Michael Manhunter?
Have you seen Manhunter?
No.
You haven't seen Manhunter?
I have not.
How about Miami Vice?
No.
These people, like, if
There's probably a lot of Michael Mann movies that I haven't seen. Honestly, Collateral and Heat might be the only ones.
I'm not giving you Heat. I was gonna say you gotta watch Heat, but
Okay. Not this time.
no, I'm going with Manhunter.
Manhunter.
So you know Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
This is supposed to be a prequel prequel.
Oh, it's the movie before Silence of the Lambs.
So it's I don't know. Have you ever seen Red Dragon
No.
with Edward Norton? Good, because Edward, like, that movie, like, replicates Manhunter. Anyways, I want you to see Manhunter because Michael Mann, it's like one of his earlier films.
Okay.
Really cool shots.
Okay.
I think that it's a nice script, right? Tight plot.
All right.
And I think the music, the soundtrack, he does like some, like, if I remember right, some wavy synth kind of dreamlike.
I'm very interested.
All right, some sweet shots. So we'll do Manhunter. You got to figure out. Wait, so what happens if, like, you can't find it? Like,
I'll find it.
You'll find it.
Yeah. Well,
I
figured.
Let's not talk about how we find it. We'll just say we find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Keep
works.
that air of mystery.
Yeah. Family Video.
At
still
least
open,
until
dog.
we talk about it. Yeah. This is being recorded in 2009.
Yeah. Wow. No, dude. I went to Family Video.
Even though Drive didn't come out in 2009.
There's one out on Apple still. At least 2 years ago there was.
I think Family Video's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they were selling weed out of there.
Excuse me?
It was the CBD stuff. Don't you remember? They
Uh,
partnered up.
No.
Oh.
I always went to the one in Grand Haven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were trying because they're renting out that stuff. Or they were leasing those buildings. So they brought in the CBD. They were, like, partnering up with CBD and trying to sell CBD, and I still don't know what CBD is, but they were doing them together. I thought it was like cannabis, but
I think that's the Center for Disease Control.
no, that's CDC.
No, I think you're thinking of the disc that you play music on.
Oh. All right. Well, either way, it's yeah. Don't worry. I didn't buy it from an employer there. Okay.
Okay.
So, that's if however you find it.
Okay.
Grab Manhunter.
Manhunter by Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Michael Manhunter. That's his. Yeah. Well, sweet. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm looking forward to watching it and looking forward even more to talking about it.
Yeah.
So, this being the first episode, we're still kind of trying to work the kinks, figure things out of, like, where exactly we're going to post it. I figured YouTube would be probably the prime source that you could find us at. Eventually, I want to put us on more websites. I don't know if like Spotify is a possibility.
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy.
Oh no, that's just domain names.
Yeah, that's just domain names.
We'll buy that.
That's just Danica Patrick.
Yeah. I wonder if you could buy the GoDaddy domain name.
Probably. I have thought about like getting a website, but I have no idea how to go about that. So
yeah. We'll talk about it.
All this is a learning process at the moment.
So you guys can learn with us as we go along. Shoot out recommendations.
Hold our hand throughout this.
Figuratively.
Give us words of encouragement or just
metaphorically.
Or just verbally abuse us. That's fine too.
Kristen Thompson.
Yep.
Was that her name?
I thought it was Kristen Thomas.
Kristen Thomas? I mean, it's not like I was that far off.
And you weren't that far off, but still not
let's
correct.
Let's be respectful.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Kristen Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Tomas.
I'm pretty sure it was set in Thailand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is Singapore over there?
Maybe. Possibly.
I mean, like...
I don't know my geology, so...
I mean, we'll get going in a second, but I'm just going to say this. Like, that movie, too, you got the whole country. It's centered around, like, a village.
Yep.
And, like, you get the sense that he's running away from this cop. Like, how the fuck does that cop not catch him? Like, and I'm not being, like, you know, American here, but, like, it's a small village.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe 100 people. Like, I don't know. I just remember that was my other gripe with the whole thing too. Is like, all right, Gosling's on the run.
There's a lot of gripes,
and he's, you know, we're hiding in the town or a village of
wherever.
100 people.
Yeah, everybody knows each other.
You'd think. Apparently not, because the cop took forever to fucking find him.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap things up here. Any final words that you wanna give about Manhunter, or anything you wanna say for the podcast?
No,
this being the first episode.
Hey, hope you guys, you know, if you're just checking us out for the first time, appreciate you. Make sure you tell other people about us. If you laugh at least once, if not, we'll just go to podcast heaven. But spread the news, and we're looking forward to you guys checking us out and listening to us.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
See you guys.